Yeah, I'm just as shocked as you are. Before we all go into a coma though, let's begin. Greetings fellow Vita fans, this is James with PS Vita at 2 AM, coming at you once again with another exciting video. And if you're new here and love everything PlayStation Vita, don't forget to subscribe. And be sure to tell me your thoughts and opinions on this topic down in the comments section. And yeah, I am really baffled at this. Sony, believe it or not, responded and gave us an answer regarding the whole PS Vita deadline thing for new games being added to the PS Vita store. Now, before I begin, many people lately in the comment section have been saying that they are new to the PS Vita, so for anyone who hasn't heard this, I will be talking throughout this video about what happened to lead up to this whole PS Vita store closing, then not closing, then new PS Vita games being on a deadline real quickly. Now, I know a lot of people out there already know about all this information, so I will have a timestamp right now on the video for those of you who just want to hear this updated news that I heard about. For all the rest of you who want to stay for the entire video, welcome! I'm going to be taking a bit more of a straightforward approach here with this content on today's video, just because I don't want this segment to last forever. But don't worry, there'll be plenty more stupid and pointless humor in the next topic. I can always guarantee that. Earlier this year, 2021, I want to say it was like sometime in March or so, Sony had announced that they were no longer going to be accepting new PS Vita and PS3 games, and even worse than that, they were going to be closing down the stores for these said systems permanently, that being the PS Vita and the PS3 store, and the PSP store to a certain extent. Basically, if you loved any of Sony's legacy platforms, you were pretty much done for. RIP legacy gamers. And supposedly this was going to be happening between July and August, depending on what platform you're talking about here. It was a significantly depressing time to be a PS Vita fan. And I got a few tweets here that are gonna go corresponding with this topic, because shortly afterwards, I'm gonna say maybe only a couple of weeks or so, Sony received so much backlash for this decision that they decided to pull it back. Or if you're a conspiracy theorist, you might think that they did it intentionally just to get more legacy sales on the stores. For me personally, I always have my tinfoil hat on, and now they're going to be leaving the PS Vita store and the PS3 stores up for the foreseeable future. PSP was not so lucky. I think my head might explode if I say that phrase one more time on this channel. So we were all happy. Alright, the PS Vita store and the PS3 store is going to be remaining up, and we couldn't be more happy about it. But although this was great news, it left many of us, including many of the devs, kind of scratching our heads with what does this mean for the future? I mean, we can assume that if Sony decided to keep the stores open, that they would allow new games to be made and added to the PS Vita store, right? I mean, it just seems like it would make the most sense. But this is Sony we're talking about here, so nothing usually makes sense. I'm already confused. And Lilymo Games, one of the developers for the PS Vita, had this to say during that time, which was in April, I believe. Lots of folks are asking if our next game is back on for the PS Vita. If it is possible, we will still bring the game to PS Vita, waiting to hear back if the cutoff date for submitting games will also be changed with this news of the store remaining open. Hashtag crossing fingers, or at least I think that's what that is. And they also went on to say we also do not know what the case is on submitting games, or if that has changed. If at PlayStation allows it, we would love to release our next game on the Vita. And it went even further with Colin Moriarty, a subsidiary of Lilymo Games, I guess you could kind of say, saying that we are trying to figure out if Sony's intent to keep the Vita store operational means we can release our next game there, which was our original intention. When Sony tells us, we'll tell you, but if allowed, at Lilymo Games' next title will be on the Vita, like the 4 before it. So from anyone who's confused by all this, basically what all these devs are saying right here is that Sony may be allowing the PS Vita store to keep going on, but are they going to allow new games to be submitted and added to the store? That's what we wanted to know at this point. So some time passed after that, and sometimes you, pun, broke the news, the very, very sad news on Twitter, saying this: sad news, it seems that the old deadlines for the new digital releases on PS Vita are still valid. That is, the store will continue to work for customers, but the games will stop coming out this summer. Hashtag Vita Island, hashtag Vita 2020. So it was during this time that we were all kind of just scratching our heads. What the heck is up with Sony? So the company is backtracking and allowing the PS Vita store to remain operational, yet they're not going to be allowing any new games to be added to it this this summer, which was very odd to say the least, and it made many devs out there, along with the community, try to push and tell everyone to buy as many PS Vita games as we possibly could, and hopefully maybe that might make Sony change their minds. I mean, it should. All corporations love money. Now, it was at this point that I just didn't hear any more regarding this situation, and I kind of just figured it was what it was. Sony was just gonna have the deadline as is, and that was just it. Which it kind of was, but I got to thinking over this time, did Sony actually respond and give us an answer if maybe they would extend said deadline? I mean, hey, it'd be worth a shot, right? I mean, we knew that they were going to be having the deadline in place this summer, but maybe if enough people asked, maybe they would be able to reconsider and have more PS Vita games for the rest of this year. So I got curious this week and was looking back through many of the Twitter posts, trying to see if I could find any more additional info if Sony actually responded to any of these devs, or anyone in general, and seeing if we could maybe somehow get an extension. And I checked on Lilymo Games Twitter because they seem to be the most vocal about the whole situation as far as the devs went, and yeah, they actually did in fact get a response from Sony, which I had no idea was even a thing. And believe me, it took me a while to find this buried deep in their Twitter feed. But as expected, well, here's what it had to say. We have heard back from Sony, and there will unfortunately be no extension window for PS Vita game submissions. So our next project, codenamed Forest Guardian or Berry Bobble, will not be launching on the platform. And that really disappoints me because that Bobble game, is that supposed to be a Bubble Bobble successor? Because I totally would want that. And I had no idea that Sony had actually responded to one of these devs saying that, nope, we're not going to be giving you any type of extension whatsoever. And games will be ending, in fact, this summer. I can't really say that this is much of a surprise to anyone out there, because it certainly isn't to me, but yeah, I had no idea that Sony had responded. And as much as this does shock me, their response unfortunately doesn't. But I guess I will have to give Sony credit here. At least they gave us an answer one way or the other instead of just leaving the whole thing ambiguous, which they do quite often when it comes to the PS Vita. So yeah, there you have it, guys. Sony has responded, and they said that no extensions will be given, and indefinitely games will stop for the PS Vita this summer. So that was very depressing, and I'd love to know just how depressed you are now, or at least if you're like me and had no idea that they had responded with this answer. I'd love to know your comments down in the comments section if you want to just elaborate on how you feel. And as always, fellow Vita fans, thank you so much for taking the time out of your day to watch this video. It really means a lot to me. Love you all, and I'll see you next time. This video has been brought to you in part by all of these wonderfully generous people who help make this content possible, including Jamie, Crazy Cat, Colossus, Ricardo Martinez, Michael O'Connor, Robert Sylvester, Hector Gonzalez, Kayonko, Burrs and Mystery, Juan M. Hermosillo, Eric DeWitt, Tasha Monty, Mazgus, Matt Hargett, Smug Wolf, Saqib Alam, 1488 Dental, Azumara, Nintendo Switch at 2 AM, Donut Valley, Romp King, Dr. Super Artie, Makis Blob, B Mystery, Matt Fox, Reiko Star, Neo Arashi, Milk Sama, Bushin Ryu Cat, Robert Johnson, Zacrito, Frayden, Joseph Razmick, Shin Snake, Alan Iwazu, Hero Acer, BMF, Phantom XRS, Gutter Drums, Adam Sondi, Claimer Malarkey, Saul Ramirez, Hemdall Imbert, PS Vita S, Joshua Williams, Kyle Brooks, Richard Cruz, Jared Haddo, JR, Lori Sweeney, Kevin Enright, Erock, Jale, Heston Joseph, Herr Sterner, H-Hitter, Aaron Swanson, Adam Thury, Wendy K, Larry Anderson, Rodrigo Vera, Skullshertugel TCG, and David Ray. If you would be interested in supporting the channel and seeing your name on this end screener, or if you wish to remain anonymous, that can be provided too, then make sure to check the links down in the description below. I have numerous ways for you to do this down there. Can't support in this manner? Don't worry about it. Likes and shares can help equally as much. You know something? I think this is one of the few times in these more somber videos that I do that I didn't mention a certain beverage. I think I'm making some headway here.